Welcome to Difficult Research. Welcome, everybody. How are you doing? I started to pitch my fit back here, and then I was like, just go, just push go. Just making sure y'all can hear me and see me and all that good technical stuff. Hey, Tom Vaughn. Dim the lights. Here we go. I used to watch UFC. Let's get it on. Right? That's what I feel like they should have during these pre-trial hearings. Let's get it on. Okay, good. AJ, how you doing? Leanne Ferguson, Rhombohedral, Stephanie B, Little Brands, hey girl, hey. Gloria Fritz, Trace on the Case, Sugar Butt Starburst. I almost messed that up. Sugar Butt Starburst. How you doing? Donna, Donald. Let me slow down. It's good to see you guys here. Hey, Beach Bum. And Janet. Hi, Janet. Hey, Ron Hensley. How you doing? I'm going to have to turn that fan back on. When I get hot, I think of my age. That factors into things. Not Melanie Gibb. She does not. She thinks it's some spiritual experience when her head got hot. It's happening. I'm going to turn the fan on. Common sense. Hey, Senga. Thank you so much for the beautiful gifts you sent. That was so sweet. So sweet. We got the box, and then I was like, I don't know who this is. You never know. You never know. Could be some anthrax or something. But I was anyway. So I usually don't open things right away. And so I waited till yesterday, and I opened it yesterday, and I was like, oh, this is so sweet. It was some earrings, and they were the perfect color that represent Tylee and JJ and hearts. And it was so sweet. Thank you so much. I will give them, to some of my family members as well, if that's okay. And let's see. Hey, Paisley Dreams, how you doing? Okay. Yeah, we're just chit-chatting up here in the beginning. Excuse me. And I took medicine, so I don't know. I'm not taking the right kind, I guess, for my my chronic throat clearing. Anyways, you know who I don't see is KJ. That's because she's right here. Hey, Terry Queer, how you doing? How you doing, KJ?
It's going. How's it going with you?
I'm fine. Did you hear that? My tablet said she was fine, thanks. When you asked
What?
that, my tablet, she said, I'm fine, thanks.
Oh, so your tablet talks?
She just did. Yeah, she was answering your question when you asked me how I was doing. She's doing fine, thanks. Whatever.
Uh,
So
well, we got who's on board tonight?
we're all on board. Let's get it on.
Yeah, let's get it on.
Let's get it on. Okay. Laura Thomas. Hey, Chris, are you and your family okay with the crap? Laura. Oh, I guess that's supposed to be Laura whore trying to do. No, I'm not on board. Never on board with Laura whore. Whatever she wants, I want opposite. Let me switch these around. KJ, yeah. Well, okay, go ahead. Hey, Door Opinion, and I saw a few people, Amber E and Laura Thomas, Barbara Porter, Zelda, Aaron Murphy, And I think I'm caught up. I think Tina Reddington. There. Okay, now. So, excuse me. Okay. Zelda wants to know, KJ, did you see the YouTube short I made about the bra in the store? It's not a bra, it's a horse's mask.
I thought that was quite funny. I'd never had anything happen like that before, so I was like, "What is it?" And then I think I figured out it was just a big joke, right?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go check it out. Um, hey Jay Hughes, glad to see you here. All right. I know I'm usually really, really late. Agent 99, just lurking. Bring it on. We welcome on lurkers. Yeah. Spell check corrected what I meant to call. I don't know. I don't know. But no, I'm definitely not on board with anything that Lori is trying to do. Ever, ever, ever. Because it's usually to either play games and pit, it's for her. It's never for nobody else. Ever, ever, ever.
Well, Krisha, anytime I read documents, legal documents, when there was that document about Lori and Chad wanted to meet together. Uh, Now, is Archie speaking for Chad? Because
That's what I'm saying. I don't think so. I think that Lori's like, hey, I want to meet Chad. Chad, it does not say anything about him wanting to meet them. And actually, John Pryor says it during the hearing the other day. He was just like, no, 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 no. I wish I
he
had
says
that.
he doesn't have. He said he doesn't want anything to do with strategizing with
Right.
Archie and Lori. He's going to have his own case in chief. He doesn't want to strategize with them. He doesn't want to strategize with Lori's attorneys.
Right.
And you know everybody sees body language, and there's no way that Chad, dumb as rocks, Chad could keep from looking at Lori. His attorney had to have basically commanded him not to look that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Nate Eaton saying she's laying back in her chair to look behind her attorneys to get a glimpse of Chad. This woman is pathetic. This woman is disgusting.
Yeah. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
I
Leanne Ferguson says, yeah, but are we going to believe anything they say? I don't. I don't. Everybody in favor, say aye. Just kidding. But I mean, I don't believe a damn word. Anything that they have to say, I don't care. That is too late. It's way too late for that. You know, I don't. It's all self-serving. It's not. Nothing is about Tylee, JJ, Tammy, Charles, or Joe. It never will be. It never was, and it never will be. Um, it's always about Lori, and it seems to be that way about Chad.
And you know what? You're correct, Krisha. At this point, because they're the ones that are they've got capital cases, they're facing the death penalty, and all these other people that you've named around that are way more important than these two. All I can say is why not focus in on these two for a while and get back to the reality of the love these other victims had. The bottom line is just focus in on the evilness and the diabolicalness and the fact that they're in that corner and they can't get out. That's what we need to focus on. And what kind of fight are they going to have? They can't meet in person. They didn't get into a knockdown, drag out fight when they got that one call in July of 2022 because it was their attorneys were there and it can't be used against them. I mean, I've sat and thought about what did they talk about?
Portals. I'm just kidding. I've been watching this show on is it Netflix? And it's about prison, and I'm just like, oh, okay. They talk through the toilet. They call it They talked through the damn toilet. I swear. I was like, oh Lord, they go fishing through the toilet. They do all kinds of things through the toilet. They have
They make
relationships.
they make food out of their toilet.
Yes, it's nut toilet talk, straight up. I met him through talking on the toilet. That was one of the things I saw. Why am I blurry? I don't know. Anyways, who knows? Potty talks or shit talks.
I think
Talking.
the one thing in the last week that really kind of really burns my biscuits is that Archie wanted to give context on why he filed what he did about them meeting together. And his reason in his context was, well, the state sent us a letter saying, you know, would you like to settle this case, right? That's not the big bomb. The big bomb was when he went to Lori and said, here, the state is saying they're willing to settle this with us. And she says, well, what will my husband think?
Which one is she talking about? I'm joking.
I mean, she's still concerned about what Chad thinks about what she would do.
I think what she's just trying to get them, she's trying to know if they're still going to go with their agreement. Their conspiracy is still trying to be carried out, if you want to look at it that way, because she's still trying to be like, are we on the same page? Are we going to do what we agreed? You know, well, that's how I see it. Just
Yeah, well, they might have sat down and figured it all out, how the conspiracy is going to all work out. But what they forgot to add in there was there's other people like your mom and dad. There's other pieces of evidence and things that do not match up to their smooth move uh, uh, explanation on it. It's not going to add up.
no, because lies don't add up. it you have to do even more to cover up a lie. You know, Ugh. Truth is just easy and simple, and they're not simple. They're not easy. They don't tell the truth. So that, and I mean, I have a 16-minute sound bit of Chad just talking about integrity, how important it is to tell the truth. It's the it's very telling, very telling, and I want to share at least some of that with y'all. But you know, it just goes to show you that they have not done that at all. They have not never planned on doing it. They never planned on telling the truth. They never planned on not subtracting as many people from their family. You know, they didn't. There were a lot of things that were hidden, and that they continue to hide. And let's just go ahead and say mainly Lori in this aspect, because her job as a mother is just to, you know, feed them, and to clothe them, and to make sure they're not in harm's way. You know, you have a job as a mother.
Yeah, well, you missed out one thing. She didn't love those children, or they'd still be alive.
Correct. Unfortunately, unfortunately, and it just is really sad for them. You know, just mainly for the kids. Because they didn't have free will, or you know what I mean. They weren't given that. That's their mom. That's that's the cult of the parent. You know, you're born, and then you know, you're under your parents' care until you're 18, and then you know you're gently nudged out into the world. But this was not afforded to Tylee for sure. It was not afforded to JJ. You know,
No, Lori murdered them and held on to uh, that little
children.
device of Tylee's
Yeah,
and held on to birth certificates and so that she could, get the money, keep going. And some could even, someone might say, well, KJ, she had to keep the benefits going, not because she was greedy, but
It doesn't matter.
because she didn't want people knowing there was a rock in the boat or something.
I mean, and
I,
I see that too, but still, you don't participate. You're in the conspiracy. That dog don't hunt. I'm just saying. I never thought about it that way actually, but it doesn't hunt. That dog does not hunt. Um, she still knew, you know.
and I want to ask this question because I'm ignorant about it, but when Chad and Lori went to Hawaii and started going to the temple there, is when they went in there, could they not tell people we need help? Or could the people sense that they needed help and do something with them? Or was they just going to let them be the goddess and goddess? I don't know.
Um, okay, I missed the first part of that. So say that again because it sounds like something that I can
Well,
answer.
when they were in Hawaii
Right?
for the last time,
Mm-hmm.
they were going to church.
Right?
Okay, so they had a temple recommend at that church, or they were just going to church service. And if they're going to the church service, did people not know stuff was going on to say, Lori, Chad, we love you, we want to get you help? Or
I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't seem that way. It just seems like everybody was just out for themselves. Yeah.
you got to go back to this, and I just want you to think about this. Every human being, an adult, okay, has a circle of support somehow, even if it's just 1-2 people. And it seems to me that Chad and Lori's circle of support included their cult members, and they didn't include someone who had any lick of sense that could snap them out of all the crap they were doing, because they were just knee deep in just psychopathic serial killer crap.
Yeah. And I know, in the FBI was watching them there, and it just still, I don't know. I don't know if it was just regular church service or if it didn't appear to be the temple because you could see into the church, you know. I just looked at those
And those
pictures not long
people
ago.
that went in that Hawaiian church where she runs in the church and everything go on to say, I think it was April Raymond or another one said that Chad introduced Lori as an empty nester, a real rich woman.
Yeah. That was I know he did that with his parents and
And he was talking that shit at the church too. Because somebody said, I forgot the guy's name, but he was on one of those lists. He said that Chad said she had a lot of money.
I don't know. I don't know where that is, you know.
I'll look. I ain't got it in front of me, but I'll look it up.
Right.
But I'm telling you, I'm not speaking out my ass on it. I
Well,
know.
no, I get it. I'm the same way. If I'm saying it, it's because I've heard it and seen it somewhere. I just can't point it out at the moment, you know. So I don't know. Was it Benjamin? I don't. What's his name? Brian Hyde or something? Benjamin Hyde.
All I know is he was at the church and he dated one of the girls that was in the castings.
I wonder who. Now I'm like, huh.
It was I think it was Christina Atwood's man.
Huh. I mean, I have those videos, audios, but I mean, I haven't. I'd have to revisit it. Everything is so long, you know, everything, every damn thing. So,
Well, just switching gears from your understanding, I know you obviously have seen Larry and Kay's interview with Nate and all that was discussed there. Did you?
yep,
And Nate explained that Chad wouldn't even look at Lori, and Lori was trying to look at Chad. What do you think the body language says in all of that?
that he intends on doing this and saving his own life, not hers. Whereas she's just trying to, you know, um, she's still in her little fairy tale land, you know, and it's not a crazy one. Let's get that straight. It's not a crazy one. Just like her being a translated being and all this was told to her. She's taken it verbatim. She's a literal person, obviously. And that makes her not crazy. Just like we've always said, we're like, but she's not crazy. She's not that kind of crazy. She's crazy, but not that kind, you know?
She's a psychopath.
Right. And so the whole her being deemed incompetent and all that stuff. Oh God. Um, I don't think that's her. I mean, I really think that's somebody just saying, okay, no, what she's saying is cuckoo, and it is, but she was told that. You can't convince me otherwise. I've watched too many things, read too many things, I've researched too many things that say whenever you have a second anointing ordinance done, it's secret. It's not sacred. It's secret. And why is it secret? Oh, because people like Lori Damn Vallow, Daybell, Lori Damn Daybell. Um, because people like that will take it verbatim, literal, and she ran with it. You'll see what she did when you tell somebody that they're exalted. When you tell somebody who already has a murderous heart, you know, um, she
Well,
ran with
she was coddled by her family.
it.
She pretty much got her way with her
Hmm.
the husbands that she married. They spoiled her all. She
Yep.
always had her way. She didn't ever have to face responsibility, and maybe in her own mind she was a step above uh, some kind of you know
Hmm.
responsibility. To me,
Right.
personal responsibility is a big deal for with me.
Being accountable. Right. Just like she told Melanie Gibb, you will be accountable, for your own actions or your own knowledge, Melanie.
But
Oh
she
yeah,
fails to say you too, Lori.
yeah. No, she did say it.
She
You will
did.
too. She said you will too. you know, um, which I find very interesting. I do find very interesting because, like, what does Melanie Gibb? What was her involvement? Because it just doesn't add up to me. It doesn't add up to a lot of y'all. So that's why we're here, trying to make sense of people who don't make sense. People
I
who are
just
like
I
my whole
just I just
curriculum.
want your raw, unadulterated answer to this question. And why is it? Why couldn't Chad Daybell support Lori's motherhood?
Because it just never was in. They've been married before, right? Like however many times. That was his pickup line, which is very common. Turns out, Saturday's Warrior is a program that used to come on. It still might, I don't know, but it's Have We Met in the Pre-Existence. I've done a whole um, recording on this. I just haven't released it, because it threw me for a loop. I was like, how many people think that it's okay to say that, or that it's normal to say, have we met in a pre-existence? And that, I was like, my mind was blown because I'm like, oh my God, So Tylee and JJ obviously were not part of the plan. And I guess Chad being, to the high patriarch status that he was dubbed as, it's not that he appointed him there. If he took part in that second anointing, then he would have become inducted into the Church of the Firstborn, just like Lori would have. Translated beings to usher in the second coming of Jesus Christ. And all that it's 2 by 2, and it's all adults. You can't bring a kids through the temple, as far as I know, or not for the second anointing, second endowment, whatever you want to call it. So I'm blown away by how can we throw all this on Chad and Lori, okay, if they're not even their own original doctrine. That's not. They got that from where they go to church. So I don't know how. I have no idea. I don't know how that's going to happen, or I don't know. But Tylee and JJ were never part of the plan. Neither was Tammy. Ever. Chad couldn't get divorced. I would love to see if Chad ever filed for divorce, or to react if Lori did, because according to his religion, according to his beliefs, that's what I want to say Melanie Gibb said, that he couldn't get a divorce, and so I would find it kind of opportunistic if he could all of a sudden get a divorce. It would be interesting. Just throwing that out there, shitty people.
So there was never any talk at all about something special or wonderful about the fact that Lori was a mother.
Not that I don't know. I can't think of that right off the top of my head, but I don't know. I don't think so. Uh-oh. What happened? She went away. Come back, KJ. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and go unless she pops back in. So I have, let me see if I think I uploaded it. Okay, there she is. Okay. All right.
Got my dang phone flipping over here.
Yeah, and that's true, Lynn Latosky. She says he couldn't get a divorce because of the life insurance. Correct. Just like Melanie Pawlowski stopped her and Brandon's divorce proceedings 2 days before the divorce was finalized, because she wouldn't have got Brandon's life insurance. This isn't what I think. She wouldn't have got Brandon's life insurance policy had that murder been carried out. Just throwing that out there. It's like a monkey see, monkey do, monkey see, monkey do. Totally.
There's been a lot of talk going around, and Carrie Ann brings it up. If it doesn't sound like let's see, go back down here. Doesn't sound as if Chad is going to make a plea deal, Cresha. Do you think Lori will?
First of all, like, who's offering a plea deal? Or are they?
The state has already sent a letter to Archibald, and that was the whole pretext for him to want to have Lori and Chad meet. He wanted everyone to know it was the state that approached them. And then when he showed it to Lori said, well, what does my husband think of it?
Well, I don't like any of it. I don't think anybody should offer any damn thing. Too late. So shame on the state. First off, for even
Well,
off.
I think it's just protocol, really.
I don't know. Is it? I don't know that. I've never had to go through anything like this. I mean, Do I have any say so? Does my family have any say so? Do any of the family members from anybody have the say so? Or does the state
According
just do
to
whatever the state wants? And
according to the Idaho Victims' Rights, the state's attorney's office should be keeping
hmm,
Larry and Kay abreast over every decision they decide to do. This isn't going to come out of left field.
hmm, I don't know.
The
And
law.
then again, I don't know. They're my parents, but I don't, just like they don't pay my bills, they don't have to just, you know what I mean? They don't disclose everything with me either. So I have no idea. I just I do all this on my own, like this part. I usually don't ask because it's none of my business unless I ask. Um, I mean, that's just the way I've always been with my parents, is what I'm getting to. Um, it's just, I figure if it's important, they'll let me know. Um, I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. But it's funny how whenever Rob Wood talked to Summer Shiflett and that all came out, and he told Summer Shiflett that Lori was close to disclosing info, but then Chad kind of talked her down, and this is right before the kids were found, right? I do believe. Hmm. I don't know. That's a whole nother loop right there. I don't understand that part. I don't understand how. I feel like if Lori is trying to say, "Hey, no, I took part in the second anointing. They told me that I was a translated being. They told me that I was going to usher in the second coming of Christ." You know, I feel like that's something that the church might ought want to keep out of courts, for sure. This case, just throwing, and it behooves the church if Lori is incompetent. You understand? That's how I see it.
Has Lori wrote back to the McConkey?
I don't know. If so, would we ever get the truth? I really don't know.
What I
The first
read,
time we wrote to them, or called them, didn't write, called them. And I figured, this is how I see it. I feel like Lori was nudged, given homework by her IDHW employee who worked with Lori, gave her homework, said, "Hey, you might want to call and get you a new attorney girl." Because Lori's sitting there watching Chad Daybell at his hearings that she's not attending because she's in the psych ward or whatever. And so Lori calls the 1-800 helpline. That's what I see. That's how I see this going down. And when you call and you're like, "Hey, I'm Lori Daybell," they're like, "Hold on." And they're like, they patch her right through to Daniel McConkey, because you don't just get Daniel McConkey. He's not sitting there getting paid pennies to answer the damn phone. And that's the church uses Curtin McConkey law firm for a lot of civil cases, mainly like the Boy Scouts of America, with the SA, all the SA, and how it's meant to look like it's a beautiful thing and it's helping victims, but it is not, in my opinion. It is not. It is there to protect the offenders and not those who are being offended. And so that's a whole nother level of sickness to me. Um, it is what it is. I didn't do it. I'm just kind of calling it out for what it is and how shitty it is. And that, I feel, that's how Lori was assigned that homework. She did her homework. She called she called the hotline, helpline, which would have patched her through, um, unless she has his number on speed dial. I have no idea how that works. But oh my God, that makes me just livid. Back then, when that came out, when those accusations came out about my Mark Means, and he was calling the church out, and he got silenced. I'm just saying, I was off. I'm all for the truth coming out. The truth shall set you free. The truth is what needs to be told here in order for everybody to have a fair hearing or a fair trial. I mean, for Tylee, Tammy, JJ, Charles, and Joe's stories to be told, the truth has got to come out. I don't care how bad it makes you look. It is what it is. Um, you can't go back on that. You know, you can't do things like that, like exalt people on in this earth life. You can't do that and then not have to be held accountable for what you are doing. They wouldn't have met, in my opinion. Chad and Lori would not have met had it not been for Elephant in the Room Church. That's this ugly thing that I see going on, and I don't know how to address it. Some people are like, yeah, I don't think so. And I'm thinking, oh my God. Yeah, you hear it in the rhetoric of Mike Stroud. You hear it with Jason Mao. You hear it with the like-minded people talk, 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 talk. It is gross, grody, 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 and it's I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know how to prove it. I don't. If anybody knows how to prove it, let me know, please, because it really sucks. It really sucks when your family's justice depends on people who make up a large percentage of this, um, people. The Mormidor, it's been dubbed the Mormidor, which is Arizona, Utah, Idaho, Hawaii, some of California, um, some of Colorado. It's the Mormidor, kind of like they have the Bible Belt. No, there's the Mormidor. And the two places where the adjudication process is, or the investigations have come from are Rexburg, which has been dubbed uh, Little Salt Lake City, and um, Maricopa County. That's scary. I'm. What the hell?
I can't speak for Maricopa County, but I can tell you this much from what I understand and what I've seen over the last 2 years. There are a lot of people in Rexburg and in Madison County that are on your side 100%.
I'm on theirs too. If they just would see it, but because I'm speaking about the church, that's they're donezo. That's what they're told. If it's not Mormon, if it's not pro-Mormon, what I'm doing now is I'm an anti-Mormon. When I'm neither. I'm neither here nor there. Uh, I'm on the fence. Um, but because I'm saying these things, that's what I've been dubbed as. I guarantee it. And that has my love for like people from Rexburg who have had this affect their life just as much, if as mine. Um, it's been so hard for me to break away from that, to say, okay, I can't hold back though. Like where I'm going with this is not going to be the same place that you're wanting me to go with this, because it's going to paint your religious, the people you look up to religiously. Um, it's not going to paint them pretty, but I'm not here to make it pretty for anybody. It's horrible. It's horrific. It's a nightmare that I am not given the luxury to just flip it on and off and go back and hug Tylee and JJ and my uncle. I'm not able to do that. So, but all these people get to go back and hug their children and their grandchildren and their nephews and their uncles. And
Well, I don't see Chad getting a Woody up close and hugging on Lori. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Not really.
He's gonna have to find him a Bubba who's got blonde hair and who holds back the grease off his bacon.
Yeah. It is. It is, Leanne. That's what took me so long. Just being, like KJ said, measured. I'm so measured. Yes. I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but what I'm having to say, what I've learned, what I'm having to bring forward, I have to at least present it. I have to. It's gross. It's gross. And it's all done under the guise of Jesus Christ, of religion. Um, a lot of people, a lot of active Mormons say, their doctrine was so different. Well, point it out. Point out where Chad's doctrine is different from yours. Because I've seen where it is the same thing, minus changing a term name, like a dark spirit or a demon or a dark spirit, and they called it. They eventually started calling it zombie. That's the only difference. It's just a term that was used. Okay, so that's the only difference. I've been waiting. I've been reading. I've been researching. I look. You know, Chad is not a prophet. Never claimed to be. They all follow the prophet, Russell M. Nelson. Every one of them. Um, so it's not me. It's not me. I didn't do it, you know, but I will get blamed for it. I will have Jesus cards in my living room, you know. I just, the church does not like to be painted in a negative light. That's pattern. You can see that over and over and over and over again. Go look at the news. They feel it's religious persecution. And Lori has it. Lori does it too. Chad, Zalima, Melanie Gibb, David. They all. It's Melanie Pawlowski, religious persecution. Victims advocate, please. And you're just like, monkey see, monkey do.
So let me just kind of switch gears a minute. The other day we were talking, and you were talking about you felt like that second grand jury was about Melanie P.
I mean, I do. I don't really. What about it? I don't know how to elaborate on that.
Well, there was a second grand jury. John Pryor wants a copy of that.
He got the transcripts.
Yeah, he got the transcript of it.
New
He says he's going to be using it on his defense. And the only thing I can come up with that is they caught Melanie P doing something in those recordings on the FBI, and she couldn't walk her way back out of it. So that's the only thing I can come up with. And that's why they've got leverage on her. Now, what is it she's supposed to say? I would say it's the same shit she told Ian, that Ian tried to twist and say it was just hopes and fears.
Right, and it's not.
I mean, she came to, Lori came to Melanie P's on the night of spring break there, when Brandon came and picked up the kids. Lori took off to Missouri.
To go see Audrey Baratero. That's how you say that.
Yeah, those people, the Clements woman and the Audrey Baratero woman, I have no clue who these women are.
Now, Audrey, according to Sean Littlebear, he did a interview with HTC, Hidden True Crime, and he kept saying that Audrey Baratero was talking. Somebody said, yeah, it was there, that Audrey was going to visit Chad talking to Chad after he got arrested. So, I'm like, what? It stinks. It stinks.
Something ain't right, is it?
The celestial champagne room.
I wonder, was she there to tell him to keep his mouth shut, or was she there to?
She worked for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Well, he's excommunicated, so he ain't in, and nobody knows whether.
After the murders. After. Let's make that clear, because a lot of people like to say that. And a lot of people are very literal, I've learned. So he was excommunicated after every murder was committed. Just like Mike Stroud, just like Julie Rowe, just like Eric Smith. They were all excommunicated after every murder allegedly occurred. So I like to just throw that right back in there, that A, we're not supposed to even know about excommunications. 2, the church doesn't like to be in negative light. 3, it was leaked conveniently for the public to see, because why? That's when excommunication becomes public. Once it's a little too out there, a little too, want to distance ourselves, So yeah, we excommunicate them, but you got the date jacked up. Just saying. Because it was in 2020 when the church allegedly excommunicated Chad. So I don't know if he paid his 10% on Tammy's life insurance policy. I have no idea if Lori paid her 10% on the Social Security and benefits she was getting off of Tylee and JJ from Charles and Joe, and JJ's disability. I don't know. It seems like the church benefits a lot. Monetarily wise, for sure. But I don't know. It is what it is. I forget what I was going to look up. I was going to look something up. And again, like excommunications, I was like, who cares about it? Excommunication means nothing to me. I didn't know. I was just like, that doesn't, I don't even know what that means. Do you understand? So when I learned that what excommunication means to a practicing Mormon, then and only then did I understand how important that black and white thinking is. Okay, well, no, not affiliated with the church, trying to branch off. Well, then there's 140 plus other branch offs, allegedly. They're all chasing this Church of the Firstborn idea. What do you think? What do you put 2 and 2 together? It is people, the secret's getting out. So we have to just turn our back to them and just deny everything. Denial. It's the pattern is right there. I don't see this in any other religion. Of course, I don't study any other religion. Haven't had to. My family wasn't murdered by any other people of any other religion. So I don't know. Well, I'm sorry about that, MN. I was a non-Mormon in a Denver Mormon neighborhood. They all knew it. They were not nice neighbors. Right. Because they're not they're not going to come out and say that, they may not even know. I have no idea. I'm not going into the psychology of active Latter-day Saint members. I just know, and I can point out behaviors that I've seen patterns of. And I do see the same pattern over and over and over again with all these people. And it threw me off also that the church never, now, riddle me this. The LeBarons, they branched off of the church. I'm going to say they branched, quote unquote, off of the church. They did their own offshoot. Ervil LeBaron, horrible guy. He had a hit list. People were getting murdered while he was in jail. He died in jail, And so there were some, I want to say 9 people who were murdered. They live in Chihuahua, Mexico, and so they could have their multiple wives and stuff like that. And anyways, this bomb or something went off in one of their vehicles, and there were 9 women and children that were killed in this bombing. And the church came out and made a statement. This is the first thing that I've studied when I was going into this, at the very beginning of this. And so I was like, oh my God, Mormon Manson. That's what they dubbed Ervil LeBaron as, Mormon Manson. That's scary. Okay. Because I'm like, cult. I just want to read everything, learn everything cult. And anyways, so the church comes out and gives them well wishes and condolences on people who they excommunicated 40, 50 years prior to that. Yet they never came out with anything. Condolences. Are you okay? Can I put you mute? Huh? Hey.
What?
Okay. Then I was gonna have to push mute, but I can't think. I'm sorry. So they came out with these statements, well wishes, condolences about those women and children that were killed in that explosion. And these are people that they excommunicated 40, 50 years prior to that. Here we have Charles, that's a member, Tylee, JJ, Tammy, all members of the church. Never said a word. Nothing. Didn't send a card unless this is it. Hi, Kay. Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I was just like, that's weird. It's weird. It's different.
Well, doesn't when like members in the church, if they're having like bad times or even terrible times like that, doesn't the church supposed to be giving to them or something?
I mean, I would assume that's how, churches around my community work. That's allegedly how they're supposed to work. And then again, if what I thought about this the other day, I was like, so if all these people are becoming dark in your realm, okay, why are you not reaching out to your ecclesiastical leaders to come and perform an exorcism or whatever, raising your arm to the damn square, or, you know, why take matters into your own hands? And then knowing damn good and well all zombies end up dead. That's why they didn't kill Tylee. They didn't kill JJ. They didn't kill Tammy. They didn't kill Charles. They killed the damn zombie. It's as literal as that. It's as literal as that. And that's crazy. That's crazy. No, they don't have a problem with that, T.S. Jackson 72. They don't have a problem with anybody, marrying more than once or twice. Men, usually, President Nelson, President Oaks, I'm pretty sure, let me just say President Nelson for sure, because I can for sure say that. He was sealed to his wife, but she passed away. And he is sealed to a new wife who was 65 and never been married. Weird. Just kind of throwing that out there. Kind of different. Wendy Nelson, she's the second person he's sealed to. So that is a form of spiritual wifery. I don't know. I don't get the whole sealing thing. To me, Heather Daybell, it's a big deal to her as a once practicing Mormon. I can just get it from my perspective, but I don't understand how that works. Just because you say here on earth that it's not in my hands, I don't know how it's going to be as soon as my lights go out. I have no idea. But it's a thing. Like every, one that I have studied, I go and look in these forums where they're just discussing things. They're not trying to, I'm not, they don't even know I'm there, and I'm reading these things and I'm like, oh my gosh, they are planning their afterlife. And that is so sad. I mean, it's good to, just be a good person, be possess a good moral compass, do nice things for others, not to expect anything. Right, Tina? Not to expect anything in return, just do good works, I guess you could say. Um, but it doesn't guarantee any. We have no idea what's after this. No, I don't. I can speak for myself. I don't. But these people are planning who they can minister to in which heaven, because there's the celestial, then there's terrestrial, and then there's celestial, then there's the highest, which is the holy order, which is the patriarchal order, which Chad and Lori would have had to have um, part taken part in the second anointing or second endowment. And there are accounts of Hans Matzen. His mother took part in the second anointing, but his dad never did. What does that tell you? You know, that means married women and married men go through this being married to other people and are sealed to other people, even though they're married to other people.
Okay, well, let me
Weird.
just back up here. If Chad and Lori go to prison for the rest of their life, whether it's death row or life in prison without any possibility of parole, can they still exercise their religion in there
Yes.
in a way? I guess the same as it would be if they were outdoors.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. But they have the right to their religion, that's their right, their First Amendment right. Um, that's
So
what I'm saying.
so
I can't. It's
they're
so
just gonna
hard to
chew
get.
each other's tails. I mean, they're just gonna go chew each other's tails because what they believe in is not true.
I believe I'm gonna answer T.S. Jackson right here. How were Chad and Lori chosen for the second anointing? In my opinion, from what I've studied, what I've learned, and I don't know. This is the best I can put things to. It makes the best sense in my mind. Um, that you have to be chosen by the prophet of the church, and it's a name referral system. Like-minded people you've heard from Jason Mao, um, Mike Stroud, okay, and they're gathering together the 144,000. Word of mouth. It is like an MLM. That's I can't prove it. I can't prove it because it's protected under the First Amendment. And the church isn't coming out and saying, "You got us. You got us. We're sorry. We didn't mean to." They're never gonna admit this ever. Because if there's a secret to be hidden, it's this one right here, especially in this case. Yeah, but I don't know how else to answer that. I've kind of said it in some other videos I've done on the second anointing, where because there's not many accounts of people coming out. There's Tom Phillips, interview with John Dehlin. There's Hans Matzen, their interview with John Dehlin. You can go and read them online. You can Google that on up and just second anointing. And there is a lot of accounts of it on paper, but people are scared to buck against the church because the church is powerful. The church is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They have a lot of stroke and a lot of influence, in my opinion.
Well,
And
without naming any names, when I was in Idaho, I met a lady who had been in the Church of Jesus Christ 48 years. And she left 4 years ago. her and her husband divorced.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 2 years after the divorce, which would have made it the next 2 years, she met another man and she wanted to marry him. This was her words, and I trust her words.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for her, she was divorced, legally divorced from her first husband, but she'd been sealed in the temple with her first husband. So she had to go to the church, and they basically told her it's your husband's decision, your ex-husband's decision.
Yeah.
And he got with her and said, and he remarried as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I just saw you and my new wife together in heaven with me.
Here you go.
And she didn't want to be married to him anymore. And she made it clear with him. She said she was as nice as she could be. And it took 18 months to go to some classes, fill out paperwork, and she finally got free of that.
Maybe. I mean, that's just what they told her. It's just like, whenever they baptized Holocaust survivors without permission. Not They didn't just come out and say, "Hey, we did this." Until somebody came forward and said, "Hey, you're baptizing people," and they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, well, we're sorry."
Well, they're still baptizing dead people.
That is creepy. It is creepy, and it's very And this is just me. I've felt violated big time in all this, just with the lineage of my family. And some
Well,
people are just like,
I was
well, whatever, that's not a big deal. But it
baptized
is to
a long
me.
time
It
ago.
is to me.
I was baptized a long time ago. Both my sons, they have been sprinkled. That's their way of baptism. I ain't
Mhm.
concerned about anybody wanting to
Yeah.
baptize
Right.
us. We've been baptized.
And that should be everybody's personal choice,
Yeah,
And I've
I
been
actually
baptized
had my
too.
brother take me into a pond and baptized me.
Yeah. That's
So,
a hey, however.
well, he knew what to say.
Um, the answer to that is technically, if you read it into the um, is it bite method or whatever? Yes. Technically, but so is, let me go ahead and do it before anybody else attacks me. So are all man-made religions. But just it's like to me where it makes a difference. Is it a healthy place or does it hurt? Does it I don't know. I'm not Rick Ross and I'm not Steve Hassan. I just can tell you it doesn't it's not very productive calling. It's like calling a narcissist or an alcoholic, that you telling them they're an alcoholic or that they're a drug abuser and you're doing this intervention on them. They do not like that. If you think back to whenever Nate Eaton was asking Melanie Gibb, is it a cult? Is it a gathering? Is it this? Is it that? Is it? And it doesn't do very good, you know, to dub it a cult. I like to call it a movement because it's just another movement. There's going to be more movements because it's not changing. And what you allow is what's going to continue. It's happened so many bazillion times before. It's happened in this case, and it's going to continue because nobody's changing anything. Nobody. So,
I just get it clearly by saying people are breaking off from the church. I've read statistical
I know.
data. The Mormons are leaving
In
a
droves.
lot. I mean,
Yeah.
the ones that stay, I would
Mhm.
say a lot of them really, really do good in the world and don't
Yeah.
see these negativity
They don't
things
know
going
that they're
on.
even involved in this. And because they are good people. that's the that's the that's just my belief in
You know
Christ.
what would really, really, I guess, be the grace of glory and God's omnipotence is if it came to a head like a pimple with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and Jesus just popped it,
Right.
and just says,
Here it is.
here it is. You want to go one way, you want to go the other. Listen, I went to Martin Methodist College there for a while. I really enjoyed it. I was certified lay minister. We had to go to these schoolings and everything, and they started talking about inclusiveness,
Mm-hmm.
gay people, serving in leadership things and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And on a personal level, I don't have an issue at all.
I don't
Personally,
either.
in my everyday life, I have no issue with that at all. But I know what my Bible says, and I had to step away from that. Now the
Yeah.
Methodist Church has gone its other direction, and there's
Or you learned more
schisms.
about them. That could be it too. You actually learned, and right? Could that be a possibility?
Excuse me.
Like, did they go a different direction, or did you just read and research more into the
No,
Methodist?
I was there. I was at the meetings. I was the head person up there, one of them, until all these people started walking in with the rainbow things over their gowns and stuff. And it wasn't that we were all trying to say, you're welcome, you can come hear the Lord and everything. We just didn't want to celebrate or, I don't know what the word is, give them the impression that everything was okay. And, we never said nothing unloving.
More, yeah,
We
more than
never, not that I can recall ever, never feeling like, you had to distance yourself from them. You tried to relate to them, you try to understand them, but this goes back to where Jesus went to eat with all of these, fellas, these money changers and all this and that. And everybody was so freaked out that Jesus went in there and was eating with them and everything like that. But he wasn't partaking of homosexuality, and he wasn't taking part of anything that was not right. But he was there in fellowship, and I guess it comes down to this. If we want to turn this around to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, um, if people are invited, I've learned that before they open these temples and stuff, they have these centers you can go in and everything before they're what is it? Before they dedicate them, you can
right.
go see them and everything. And I'm assuming there are people there that will talk to you and all this and that. But I just would like to be able to talk to them and explain to them something that I learned on my trip. And I will say this up front. I do not mislead anybody. I do not purposely lie to anyone. And I've had several um, Latter day Saint, active saints approach me in Idaho and ones that have left Idaho. And I've heard and I've listened to them for just from my own perspective, not to go and regurgitate it to everybody else. But there is one thing that stands out to me over this woman who has been in the Church of Jesus Christ for 48 years, who was a woman, a very sweet woman, really. She told me that there was never talk that she can recall in 48 years of Jesus dying on the cross and being resurrected and sitting at the right hand of God. It was all about the second atonement. And I looked at her and I said, and this is just my view, if they cannot accept that Jesus died on the cross for the sins of the world, that he died, he lay buried, he resurrected, and he went to the right hand of God, and God has given Jesus Christ all powerful over the earth. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess that he is Lord. If this is just something that they're not willing to look at in terms of Holy Scripture, then the safety of their Book of Mormon is going to have to get them out and away from the truth that I know to be the truth. Because without Jesus, they have it in their Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And how many times have we said that word is there as a cover? It does not uh, it doesn't demonstrate at all, in my view. I don't know it all, but I do know this. You know, for for someone to not want to know about that or being taught that, the only logical conclusion that I can come up with is that because of their religion, in that they want to be lowercase g's on our planets, and there's different levels of, you know, these different planets or whatever. None of that is anything. It's not powerful compared at all to those nail scarred hands and Jesus being on that cross, dying for the sins of this world. And I just pray that eyes will open and ears will open. I'm not here to shove it down anyone's throat. I'm just merely letting you know that is from my journeys. They do not speak of Jesus Christ dying on the cross and resurrected, because that is the most powerful thing that no human being will ever be able to overcome, to become their lowercase g. It is what it is. I hope people understand. I say this with all due sincerity.
Yeah. Um, I don't, it's not my place. That's why I always say that God, that's, I'm grateful that I don't have to be the judge. That's not my job. I don't judge. I don't sit here and judge. I don't like what Chad and Lori did. I don't like what they've done. They've made a real mess of things, and they've put me in a lot of uncomfortable places. And I've learned that we have to get comfortable talking about the uncomfortable things if we want change. And I'm glad that I'm not a judge and that I don't have to be a juror, and that my say so does not have that their um, innocence or guilt lies on my decision, because it doesn't. I don't want that job. So there's a lot of things that I think happened that play into Chad and Lori's beliefs. They're not just theirs of their own, in my opinion. They did bastardize them in some ways,
Yes.
I do believe, but this has happened before. And blood atonement is not just something that I've invented. I didn't even invent it. It's something to do in this religion, to the point where, like, I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know. Got way off topic though. But there's a lot of, they put me in a lot of difficult places, and they, to talk about everything that Chad and Lori have done, um, you have to talk about a lot of uncomfortable things. A lot. None of them are easy. Even talking about the way the just in the reports, and who in the text messages, to just to see the comings and goings, and just them talking like like they were like my family members were pieces of trash. My mom was on that list, and it bothers me way more than I thought. My mom being on the hit list would ever bother me. It bothers me, and I can't stand them for this part. I really don't like them for this part where they make me uncomfortable because they were selfish, and because they weren't strong enough to talk about these types of things, obviously, because I want understanding. I'm not here to point out anything on anybody, because I need to sweep around my porch, like my mama always said. I need to sweep around my porch, and that meant I need to worry about myself before I can even worry about others, right? And that's just where I kind of stand in everything that I do. I don't just sit there and point, and I'm careful. Like, I do my research. I have not done 4 years of research just to piss the Mormon church off. That is not my intention. I have been more than guarded, more than careful, more than measured, more because I care. Um, I care how people see me, especially as a practicing Mormon. This is not, I didn't choose this position. I didn't choose this life. I didn't choose this, but it chose me. If you look at it that way, this happened, and this affects my life. And I can only tell people how and what I'm doing from my perspective, from it affecting me directly. Um, that's all I can do, and just try to hear their side of it. Try to be as fair about it, because there's three sides to every story. There's yours, there's mine, and then there's the truth. And that truth is always going to be right there. It's not biased. It doesn't judge. It doesn't no. It's the truth. And the truth is what's going to let us free. It's going to set us free. But uh, a lot of people are, apologists and things like that. And again, to each their own. To each their own. You can uh, believe in a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater, whatever, just as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. And it killed people who, didn't die naturally. 3 members of my family. That is where I do have the right to speak. I do have the right to speak to that. I do have the right to share how that affects me, and where I've studied, where I've researched, where I will continue to study and research until my little um, moral compass says, okay, we're done. That's when I'll say, okay, I'm done. But until then, um, it is what it is. Um, it's not, murder's not pretty. I don't know who, I don't know who said that it was supposed to be nice and tidy, and here you go. It's not. These are innocent children. These are innocent spouses. Um, these are innocent people, and they don't get a say so. They didn't get a say so in this. They didn't choose to die. Um, and I have a problem with that. They don't have a voice because they were silenced. My uncle was silenced. So many people posted this quote elsewhere for a different reason, but it resonates here too. The truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is. Thank you, W. Churchill and Janet, for bringing that, because it is so fitting here. And it is such a tough position to be. And I mean, I say thrown into. I chose to go this route. I feel like I stood up to the plate and was like, okay, come on. And here I am, holy crap, why the hell did I do that? What was I thinking? But I can't ignore it. I cannot, and I can't. My body rebukes it. I can't ignore it. Um, there are too many people hurting from this. Hurt people hurt people. That seems to be the pattern. When somebody is hurt, they go to hurt somebody else. When somebody's bullied, they go and they want to hurt the next person. Why? Because they're being deprived of love. They're not getting attention from somewhere. Not everybody has the same upbringing as the next person. Um, Thank you, Diamond Eyes. Um, it's just it's a difficult position to be put into. Difficult research is the name of this channel. It is so fitting here because this isn't easy, but anything we're doing is not easy. I do know that. I don't know where it's going. I just want it out. I want it out. And that way it will be whatever it's going to be. It's at least I did my job. I got it out. And then however anybody else reacts to it and responds to it is up to them. I have no control over that. All I can do is bring it to the surface. People can choose to react however they wish, however they will. Just like I can choose to react how I will when I do, to whatever. Because I mean, whatever I say, it's like not like I have a say so, I mean, I have an opinion. Everybody has one, but I don't have a say so. I have a cousin that is gay, and I love him to death, and I never interfere in his choice or in his life. That's for him. That's not for me to do. um, and it's just everybody's interpretation, uh, in my opinion. But that's me. That's how I am. I don't look down on anybody. Um, so anyway, and so yeah, so me and Jason were talking earlier, and I was like, what was it that just grabbed me and about the documents, and I was just like, oh my god, it's just like the perfect 11 pages or whatever that I pulled from that 304-page report from Brandon's shooting, right? And I don't know which pages it was, but it zinged to me because me and the weird mom, we actually read it. Jason was like, you actually read them, but it just didn't stand out to you. And I was like, crap, I hate that, it jumbles up. It does. It's very easy for things to get jumbled up. There's so much to this. There's so much to this. There's so many things I want to comment to and about and talk about and bring to light because it is all in the details for sure. It's all in the details. Wow. I like it, kitten lips. I like it. I mean, if that's the law of the land, and if that's where we live, is the law of the land. What happens after that is beyond my reach for sure. You know, um, it is what it is.
Well, I got a question.
I'm right there with you, T.S. Jackson. Me too.
Oh, this is KJ.
Yeah.
If somehow the defense attorneys are able to get back and forth with each other and Chad tells Lori to go ahead and get a plea deal, do you think she'll do what her husband says? Or how do you see all that playing out?
I don't see it happening. I see that as some spaghetti being thrown out there and trying to see what sticks. Jason, he was like, I'm surprised that her attorneys are even doing this. And I'm like, well, they have to, right? Can you imagine? Like, Archibald was probably like, oh my God. just throwing that out there. I have no idea. I don't know how that works. I don't know.
Well, if she's not divorcing him, she's still married to him. She still, you can obviously see she wants him.
She better want him. They better want each other, in my opinion, because they both went to such great lengths to be with one another and to have money while doing it. So, I mean, it was just cashing in on your loved ones' lives. So everything is just expendable, uh, including each other. I mean, I think that's what we're seeing is the bus throwing at its I say at its finest. I hope not. I feel like there's more. Um, there there's death on the table, and they're going to. That's what a narcissist does. They are only out for themselves. I don't see a meeting ever happening. The prosecution came back with, uh, you know, uh, things that make sense as to why these things should not happen. They're co-conspirators. Um, to me, and this is just my opinion, by allowing them, like if they did allow them to talk, like they did in July of 2022, then that's allowing that. When does like Rob, I always want to say Rob Thomas. Anyways, her other attorney. Um, anyways, not Archibald, the other one, Thomas. He had brought this up in court about when does the conspiracy end and when does it, the language in the whatever in the indictments. And to me, by talking with your co-conspirator, that's like continuing the conspiracy, right? Right? I mean, that's kind of where I see that by allowing them to talk, because they're still like, hey, how are we going to handle this? If they did. Chad's not wanting to, Lori's wanting to, and prosecution's like, let's start naming the ways why they shouldn't. You know, um,
I'm going to do my level best on February 14th to have a Chad and a Chad and a hussy sit down across from each other and see just it's not going to be comedy. We're really going to see what it could possibly be. I know it's fruitless. But we don't have no answer. So I kind of wanted that part of the skit to go, just to see what could go on. Give a little background with them and see how that would go.
you think? I'm sorry, I was reading D. Hutchinson. She believes in Chad. If he tells her to take all the blame, she would. I wonder. I don't think so. But that's interesting. Maybe she will. Maybe she's under the Chad spell. I don't know. I don't. It's like I have to get in their minds enough, to see things from their. I try to see things from how they would see it. It's tough. Uh, I don't know. That's interesting though, and thank you.
I'm gonna try it. I might fall flat on my face, but I'm gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know how me. I ain't no damn experienced person or anything.
Yeah, I don't think so. Lynn Latosky says Lori won't admit to anything. She said she was at home when the children died. All right, and then she was in Hawaii with her niece, fellow niece, and Audrey Baratero.
Wonder what she was doing at home.
She was knitting.
She was knitting.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
I said that. I'm just being facetious, I'm joking.
Well, she sure as hell didn't need to be knitting nothing but a sock for damn Chuck's big daddy boy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Johnson.
Oh, well, I'm gonna go ahead and I guess I do want to share the audio with you about Chad. Let me find it. Let me try and find it. It is right here. Got it. And so this is 16 minutes, but I'll interject, of course. But it's we're getting, that last live stream was 4 hours and some change, so I don't want one that long again. But I just couldn't stop either. I just had to keep on going. So I'm going to play a little bit of Chad Daybell reading his book, The Aaronic Priesthood. This is chapter 6 and I think 7. And it's about integrity and doing the right thing. Even it's just, you'll have to hear it. So let me go and share that real quick. Share. Let's grab it. Let's see. Okay, video right here. Okay. Sorry, had to go look and see what tab. Okay.
National sports writers could hardly believe he was for real. Here was a ball player who didn't act like a typical star athlete. Dell's example let many people across the nation know that members of the church don't drink alcohol, smoke, chew tobacco, or swear. His pleasant personality and his eagerness to sign autographs were a welcome relief to fans who were tired of athletes who felt they were better than everyone else. However, Dell's story might never have taken place without the example and integrity of a player Dell met in the minor leagues, Barry Bonnell. I used to collect baseball cards, and I particularly liked to collect rookie cards produced during a player's first season. One of my favorite rookie cards is the 1978 Topps card of Atlanta Braves rookie Barry Bonnell. Some rookie cards are worth a lot of money, but Barry's is only worth about 17 cents. So why do I find it so special? Because Barry performed a feat that has affected the entire church. He introduced the gospel to Dell Murphy and later baptized him. Dell and Barry were teammates on the Atlanta Braves minor league team in Greenwood, South Carolina. Barry asked Dell some questions about the importance of baptism and eternal life, things Dell knew little about.
Sorry.
Dell said, "We had many long discussions and then got together with the missionaries. And after receiving the lessons, I knew I wanted to be a part of it."
Thank you.
Barry baptized me after the 1975 season. Barry went on to have a good professional career, but during the 1978 season, Barry had an experience that he described as life-changing.
Mm-hmm.
He was struggling terribly at the plate, batting about 200. He was down on himself and felt miserable. He really didn't want to go when Dell asked him to join him on a hospital visit, but he went anyway. There he and Dell met Ricky Little, a young Atlanta Braves fan who had leukemia. It was readily apparent that Ricky was near death. Barry felt a deep desire to think of something comforting to say, but nothing seemed adequate. Finally, Barry asked if there was anything they could do for him. The youngster hesitated, then asked if they would each hit a home run for him during the next game. Barry said later, "That request wasn't such a hard thing for Dell, who in fact hit 2 homers that night, but I was struggling at the plate and hadn't hit a homer all year. Then I felt a warm feeling come over me, and I told Ricky to count on it." That night, Barry hit his only home run of the season. You don't have to convert a future major league star or hit a home run to fulfill your duties. If you say you'll collect fast offerings or help with a service project, you'll do it. That's what integrity is all about.
Right here.
Before one scout camp out when I was younger, Our scoutmaster asked us to make a tinfoil dinner for ourselves to cook in the campfire. My mom reminded me to make the dinner, and then she ran an errand before I left for the campout. Our troop had eaten tinfoil dinners on the previous campout, and I decided I'd had enough of potatoes, carrots, and hamburger. So while Mom was gone, I looked in the freezer and spotted what I thought would be a great tinfoil dinner, a frozen pizza.
Mm-hmm.
I got out the tinfoil and wrapped that frozen pizza up nice. Then I stuck it in my backpack just before Mom arrived home. I kissed her goodbye and headed out on the campout.
Yes.
That night, my pizza was a big hit. Even my scoutmaster was amazed at my meal. Yes, it did burn a little on the edges, but it really was pretty good. I even chiseled off a few pieces for the other scouts. However, I had a nagging feeling that this wasn't quite the meal Mom expected me to make. When I returned home the next day, she asked, "Chad, do you know what happened to the frozen pizza that was in the freezer? We were going to have it for dinner tonight, and now it's gone." It was a time of decision for me. I'd been gone for a whole day. Certainly one of my younger brothers could shoulder the blame. But, somewhat embarrassed, I explained what I had done.
He's talking about his brothers could shoulder the blame. Just like, I mean, in my opinion, this is inside Chad Daybell's simple mind. And I'm sure Lori can shoulder the blame. And Alex Cox can shoulder the blame. And the same for Lori. Everybody else can shoulder the damn blame. Why should she have to? She thinks she's a victim somewhere. Trust me. I just get that.
Mom laughed, but she wasn't as impressed with my pizza dinner as my fellow scouts had been. However, she thanked me for telling the truth.
We do.
In that incident, I can't claim to have displayed complete integrity. I did admit to Mom what I had done, though.
Oh, yeah.
The point is that after making a mistake, we need to face up to it. We need to tell the truth. That is integrity. Telling the truth and honoring promises no matter the consequences.
Oh, yeah.
The Lord expects us to do.
Right? Oh, my God. I mean, that's just, I think Gene Panek was the one that said that we need to play this over and over again.
To it. We need to tell the truth. The truth. In that incident, I can't claim to have displayed complete integrity. I did admit to Mom what I had done, though. The point is that after making a mistake, we need to face up to it. We need to tell the truth. That is integrity. Telling the truth and honoring promises no matter the consequences. The Lord expects us to do so.
I mean, come on. Right? He is so boring. I know, he is so boring. And just to know that somebody that dresses in plaid and just a boring Chad, you know, how many times I've seen people say, you know, he just doesn't look, he doesn't look charismatic. And that's where I say that this would not fall under what I would, you know, define as a cult leader. But then they had their own inner circle, right? You know, and that's where they were dictating and calling the shots because, in my opinion, they took part of the ceremony. I feel like they have. I don't know. Nothing else explains it to me. Nothing else makes logical sense. I mean, that barely does. But just saying, it just, it's the only thing that I've found that explains this. And then Dr. John Dehlin, you know, he even in a lot of ways validated me in what I've been saying for, you know, since August, September, October of 2021, when I learned about the second anointing. It's something that your everyday Latter-day Saint does not even know. And I hate, if you are a Latter-day Saint and you're here, I hate that, you know, what I'm saying right now is just totally like, but it's true. It's even hidden from you. And I don't like that. Anything that's hidden is not good. In my opinion, that's how I was raised. And there shouldn't be people, doing this, you know. It's gross. And it's anyways, Dr. John Dehlin, you know, he validated me in a lot of ways when he shared on cults to consciousness that the most shocking thing he learned about was the second anointing, and that you know, he even went on to say that um, they are, you know, exalted, and that's the leaders of the church that would have taken part in this, and general authorities, and washing the, you know, washing and anointing, you know. And to me, it makes all the sense in the world. It lines up with it perfectly. I don't even know if Chad and Lori knew that they took part, you know, that this was something that not everybody around them gets, right? Um, I don't know. It's weird. But I'm just here, you know, I'm just here just trying to make sense of it like the next person. And I don't like it. Yeah, thank you, Queen Bee. I think so too. I learn a lot um, from watching these ex-Mormon creators. And in the beginning, you have to know that I didn't know the difference between people's degrees of you know, physically in, mentally out, ex-Mormon, Mormon, active Mormon, lazy. You know, there's all these terms, and I'm like, what? I don't understand what all that means, right? Orthodox and fundamentalist, and I'm just like, what? I don't. I just never had to know all these terms until I did, you know. And so here I am trying to make sense and do the best I can with these terms. And I learned by Googling it up, you know, that's what I've done. Um, that's my right that I have. And and so a lot of these things I'm trying to find old Stroud, you know.
Go into the internet, Google that up.
Go into there. And I did. And that's what he's saying. That's another thing. Mike Stroud is saying, if you don't believe me, go into the internet, Google it up, because it is there for the finding for an active Latter-day Saint. It is there. They didn't make this stuff up. It is just the early Mormonism that the prophet Joseph Smith taught. And so it's not doctrine that's just brand new that Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow Daybell made up. It is there. They're just bringing it, you know, to Chad and Lori.
And start to inquire and plead to obtain and receive.
You can't make this stuff up.
We ain't seen nothing yet.
Totes. So, I mean, and then they get excommunicated as soon as they do, you know, inquire and plead to obtain and receive. Then they get excommunicated, and I don't even know. I don't even know what they know. Yeah, I see that too, Gene. Yeah, I do my research. Trust me. You know, I mean, but just like Bill Real and Radio Free Mormon, I've learned a lot from those guys also, and people that they've had on their shows. And you know, a lot of these ex-Mormons, you know, a lot of people who are still active Latter-day Saints, this is what I see. They're like, why can't you just leave the church alone? And it's because of love, because they are trying to get their active Latter-day members who are also part of their families, they're trying to get them to see the light, that they're not anti-Mormon. I'm not anti-Mormon, but you just have to see, you know, they're just trying to get them to realize that it is not all that it's cracked up to be. So it's not that people who are ex-Mormons, you know, don't want to just leave the church. I'm sure they could do that in a heartbeat and not have to relive through the pain. But they want to rescue everybody else. That's my take on it. So Anyways, I know this show kind of turned out kind of weird, and I don't know if there's any salvaging it, but all I can do is just navigate the best way possible. I just wanted to tell their stories: Tylee, Charles, JJ, Tammy, and Joe. And it's gonna probably, I know it already has, it's pissed off a lot of people, and it should, as it should. But you can't, how I see it is, you shouldn't retaliate against the person bringing it to the light. You know, take all those aimed comments and angered words and write Chad and Lori letters. Tell them how much it pisses you off that they did this. Because it should piss everybody off. It should get everybody's attention. I don't know what else, and it's not a challenge. I don't know what else would wake people up. And I also want to know if there are any ex-Mormons here who have, you know, this story has, I wonder if it has maybe helped get you out of it, you know, because you've studied some things, you researched some things, and kind of like Heather Daybell, how, you know, what Chad was doing, Chad was saying, and then she ends up reading it and she's like, holy crap, you know, and then her shelf broke, so to speak. And I don't know if that's the positive of the, I have no idea. I'm just here. It sucks. It is very boring. It is so boring. And it's hard to make something that's so boring and uninteresting to the average person. You know, they're like, okay, yeah, all right. It's not all, you know, ooh, the tea. Well, here's the tea. It's not all that, but it is. And I'm like, holy crap, what? You know, that they didn't just create their own cult. And so I look at Brandon and I'm like, he even says that it's, you know, their own thing. And he doesn't even recognize it. Charles didn't even recognize it. He was just repeating what Lori was telling him. Oh my God. And it's got to come out. It's got to come out. It just is what it is, you know. I know that's in this though. That's part of this, because I feel like the helpline goes hand in hand with this exposing child abuse. Yeah, I feel like that helpline is not such a helpline. It's a hurt line, and it gives the church heads up, and they can go and, you know, change things around and fix it, fix it, you know. And they're not at all fixing it. They're silencing the victims, in my opinion. This is how I've seen some stories, I've read. I'm not just speaking blindly. I'm not very good at speaking to it, but it's creating victims no matter what, and silencing victims. And that is something that I saw in my Uncle Charles, in his face, when he was talking to the cops outside of that hotel room during the day. And he's talking to the woman cop. And there's a moment where my uncle, it looks like the life is sucked out of him. And that's where I go, that's I'm always reminded of that, and how he was silenced. Anybody that stands in the way is silenced, and I don't want to be that person. Just for calling a spade, you know. So yeah, that's the best apology to me, is change for the to the, you know, because people can change and become crappier, you know. So this doesn't mean become crappier. This means fix it, address it, stop sweeping things under the rug. Okay? It's not working. The rug has got a dirt pile underneath it that you cannot, you can't get around it, right? You're just like, okay, it's a pile of dirt and it needs to be vacuumed with change. Um, so, anyways, yes, he was terrified. Yeah, just that moment where he's just like, oh my God, I don't know this person I loved. She's gone. But he was okay with moving on, no matter if that meant that he wasn't going to be with her anymore. But he died doing and being who he was. And he was somebody who loved. And that's how I want to be remembered also, is just by doing the right thing, integrity, especially like Chad says, joking. I'm joking. Integrity is doing the right thing, especially when no one is looking. Not wanting to, an atta girl or, hey, good job for doing the right thing. Well, yeah, good job, but I don't expect any like hoorah or anything over it. I hope that we can all be like that. And thank you. Thank you, Diamond Eyes. I really appreciate that. And he was ambushed. Kathy Barella, he was ambushed. Um, there's no doubt about it, Oh, wow. Yes, your story knocked me off the fence and broke my shell in the best way possible. I'm here to support you, Kay, and Larry in the search for justice. Thank you. That's so sweet. That is so. That reminds me of why I'm here. Like, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I don't wish this on anybody, but positive has to come from these horrible stories. And they're not stories. This is real life. This is real. You can't get any more real than this. And it sucks. It's like, I'm not like, all right, we're gonna break some shells today. That's not my intention. I don't know what the good Lord has. I have no idea. I just know this is what I'm supposed to do. And I'm sorry that you had to go and are going through that Magic 8 Ball, and many others who are ex-Mormons or have been, hurt by organized religion. It's not supposed to be like this. It never had to be like this. So if you're like me, then you learn the hard way, and we'll get through this together. That's all there is to it. So it's just to tell the stories of the victims to the best of our ability and to make their voices count and not silence them. So yeah, he can get a divorce. He said that he couldn't get a divorce. That was the whole point of why he didn't just divorce Tammy. And exactly, life insurance would have been nulled. So he could have gotten divorced. Lori could have gotten and gone through with the divorce. Uncle Charles was trying to have her served. She was ducking and dodging because she couldn't have collected also on the. I mean, let's say it would have went to her, the $1 million. She, couldn't have collected that if there were divorce proceedings. So it would behoove them, Lori, Chad, Melanie P, even. So it's just, yeah. But anyways, so I'm going to go on that note, and I just want to get this out, though. It's like I'm not able to touch on the things that I want to bring out, because it ends up being really long. There's so many other things to talk about, but yeah, all that can change with yes, and betterment, right? Thank you, Harley62. Just you being here is more than enough. I'm more than grateful for that. Thank you so much. Yes, that should piss everybody off, right? Thank you. She should go to jail for that. If it was my world and I could have it any way I wanted, that would lock her ass up. Just saying. Yeah, yeah, Kelly B. I mean, and my mom didn't ask for it. It's just something my Uncle Charles did because he knew that she would do whatever his wishes with it. Um, you know, uh, I can imagine if Lori had gotten that money. Can you imagine? It would be probably paying for her and Chad to be represented, just like Tammy's blood money, I call it. So, oh, me too, AJ. I'm scared to see her dancing videos too. I picture like Fame back in the day. It was so long ago that I can't remember it because I was little. But there was a show called Fame, and yeah, that's what I picture. Like 80s. I love 80s too, but still crazy. And the phone calls that her and she got somebody to call, but somebody put in the comments that she could have even had a artificial voice call, but I feel like they're pretty bold, and it could be Alex, it could be Chad that called and tried to put passwords on it. I don't know what Chandler cops have held back and not released in the FOIA because they have to build a case with it. So there's a lot of things that haven't come out. That's not all there is, in my opinion. So there's so much more, and it's gonna do more than bury all their asses, because the truth is gonna come to light, and shame on them. That's all I can say. Thank you so much, Harley62. Thank you. That's very nice. Thank you. Yeah. So I'll see you guys next time. I might schedule another one of these or something, because I want to get to their beliefs and where they got the things they got, where they came from, who they came from. They're not of their own. Trust me. I want to live forever. Yes. That's it. Kelly B. That's it. That's the one. But anyways, thank you so much for being here. I do have the where to go? All the way bottom. Yeah. Oh. Okay. That's for the petitions. Go and to this link right here, and if you haven't signed the petition to, have cameras in the courtroom, hopefully for the trial. I don't know any other way besides, our friend Carol M made this up, and it was very nice of her, and she's pushed it, and I'm very grateful for her and what she's, went and created. And there's a little over 900 signatures on it. We're almost there to, I guess, the next point. I don't know how this works, but we'll find out together. And there's family members of mine, like Jason, who won't be able to be there because we have children who are in school. We can't just uproot them like that. And I just want my family members to be able to watch this without having to uproot their entire lives. Our friends, people that knew and loved the victims. And we shouldn't be punished just because somebody doesn't know how to, mind their own business. So anyways, if you will, please go and sign, and let's have cameras in the courtroom. I pray. And be able to bury their bodies, be able to bury Tylee and JJ. That would be awesome. That'd be nice. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, mods. Thank you, Kathy, of course. And I'll see y'all soon. We'll schedule one soon about the beliefs, because I want to go there. Thank you. Love always wins.